In real life, these rather ordinary-looking guys are 26-year-old Lionel Douglass, new high school graduate Varan Tucker, and the guy with the mustache, Daniel Nanny. You've probably never heard of them by those names, but in their stage lives, Lionel is the famous BigBird, Varan the celebrated Cookie Monster, and Daniel is a new kid on the block, Inspector Farquhar. The Sesame Street Muppets are perhaps America's best-loved characters. This year, they've left their famed address to take their act on the road with a new theatrical production, Sesame Street Live.
One of the key things that triggered it off in working with Jim and the Muppet characters in the past, you look at the television ratings of 10 million people a day watching Sesame Street.
Bob Shipstad is the producer of the show, which features on-stage set changes a la Saturday Night Live. For many children, Sesame Street Live is their first exposure to theater.
Well, that you're kind of transformed into a fantasy land, and that there's no great big heavy messages, and they walk out being entertained and saying, gee, I'd like to see it again, or the kid's reaction is, I can hardly wait to see the TV show in the morning. So it's just kind of like renewing acquaintances with old friends in the theater.
Seeing Sesame Street's biggest stars bigger than life is a dream come true for most kids.
Well, they are real, absolutely, yes. And I think that really comes to bear more when you start receiving the letters from the children across the country, and you hear what their input is, and you see them at the show, and they're very earnest in saying, hi, Cookie Monster, and they can be in the 50th row back, and they're talking through the whole show to the characters. So, and that's, again, the wonderful thing that Jim has created, that they are so human-like or fantasy-like that it's like having a good friend that you know.
Do you know Cookie Monster? Tell me about him.
He eats cookies.
What kind?
Chocolate.
What kind of cookies does Cookie Monster eat?
Brown.
You think if I gave him a cookie, he'd talk to me?
Yep.
You do?
Yeah.
Now, Cookie Monster, it would really be so good for my career if I could get an interview with you. And I know that you're a big star, and I talked to your manager. He said you weren't available. I talked to your agent. He said there's just no way. So I figured, now it's not my ethics, but, you know, I thought that maybe I could bribe you into this interview. Now, Cookie Monster, I have chocolate chip cookies, and I kind of thought that if you could just give me 5 minutes of your time, I have a whole bag here. If we could just do the interview, it would be so good. I mean, I could get a great job, Cookie Monster. What do you say? Maybe I should have tried oatmeal cookies.
Cookies!
It's a universal truism that you can't fool a kid, and any child you ask will sing the praises of Sesame Street's 11 years on TV. But when Muppet magic transcends the television set and comes to your school, well, it's almost too much to handle. While they're in the spotlight, you almost forget there's a person under the feathers and fur, and sometimes the actors do too. What happens to you when you put the costume on?
I'm a whole different person, jumping around on stage, dancing, and I'm really, I feel that I'm the Cookie Monster, you know. I'm out there, eat cookies and eat everything in sight, and I just feel it, just feel the character.
How does it feel to be one of America's most loved characters?
It feels great. No, I like it very much. It's a good feeling. It's, I guess it's something that maybe I have dreamed of, that feeling of having, but I've probably dreamed of having it as being me, but being a character, it's okay. It comes across the same way. So.
Many of the characters are well-established actors with considerable TV and movie experience. But as the new creation, Inspector Farquhar explains, taking time to do Sesame Street live is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Certainly everybody wants to do the TV and the other parts and maybe voiceovers for other cartoon type things, but this is a chance to do the Henson Muppets and to work for Sesame Street.
Now, the show has been touring since November, and that can create quite a strain among the clan of performers.
It's a very interesting experience because, you know, I'm a new character for Sesame Street, and I've never been around anything like this before. And, you know, it gets a little crowded on the bus when you have to sit next to a Big Bird, and then, of course, Bert and Ernie, who are always cutting up someplace, you know, they're always, and then there's Oscar, who brings all of his trash on the bus. I tell you, it smells. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. I love to travel like this.
As they pack up to head for another city, you realize it's true what they say. You can see part of yourself in each of the characters. In this situation, I have absolutely no doubt I'd be Big Bird, always watching as life just passes right on by. Make sure you don't miss our PM departments. They're coming right up.